Thank you for joining us for CBS 19 News at 10. I'm Jesus Martinez. President Trump said the U.S. carried out a successful strike against Iranian nuclear sites today. This comes after tensions between Israel and Iran entered its second week, and the two countries had exchanged missiles during that time. And just a few moments ago, President Trump addressing the nation on that airstrike against Iran. Earlier this week, the president said he would have 2 weeks to decide if he would get involved. Well, those 2 weeks became 2 days after those comments. Here's a little bit of that address. Take a listen.
With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close.
Well, President Trump said he did call Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ahead of those strikes, and Israel was aware of those attacks. Joining us in studio now is U.S. Representative Nathaniel Moran. Congressman Moran, thank you so much for joining us this late in the evening. First off, I want to get your thoughts on the decision of President Trump today.
Jesus, I totally support what President Trump did today. This is a historic night. This is truly peace through strength and action is what we're seeing. These three sites presented a clear and present danger to the United States and to our ally Israel. They needed to be taken out, and this was a decisive and necessary action.
Were you aware, maybe known ahead of time that this was going to happen?
No, I was not aware that this was going to happen ahead of time, and thankfully the president did this covertly so that it kept our troops out of harm's way as much as possible. This was something that needed to happen without prior notice. Now, we had given plenty of opportunity for Iran to come to the negotiating table, but they refused to do so, and they continued to pursue terrorism and a nuclear weapon, and that was simply unacceptable.
Now, in your opinion, do you think the U.S. should have been involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran?
Absolutely. We need to stand strong with our greatest ally, Israel. We absolutely need to do that. And Iran, as I mentioned, presents a clear and present danger to us. They have said for years that they want to destroy both America and Israel, and we've simply sat on the sideline and let them develop this nuclear weapon program decade after decade without taking the decisive action that needed to be taken. I've called for these strikes way before now, and I was glad to see President Trump do it.
Now, after these strikes, what consequences could we see here in U.S. soil?
Well, the first consequence is we need to secure our military close to Iran geographically. We know that there's probably going to be a response by Iran. We need to make sure that our military personnel and our civilian personnel abroad remain safe and are protected. And certainly we need to be diligent going forward. As President Trump said today, if Iran doesn't come to the negotiating table, there's more consequences for them. And truly tonight, I think we showed that our military is still the most powerful in the world, and it should be one that's feared.
Congressman, I know here in East Texas we have a lot of servicemen, servicewomen. What would you say to those families listening tonight that have family members in the forces? Should they be concerned?
Yeah, we're grateful for their service and their sacrifice, no question about that. They put themselves in harm's way every day. Whether or not a conflict like this is imminent or not imminent, their lives are in danger every day, especially when they're abroad, and we're thankful for that. Now's the time, though, when we need to secure our national security, and this truly is a threat to national security. The development of a nuclear bomb in the hands of an Iranian regime that has said they want to destroy America and its ally Israel, that's simply unacceptable. We cannot stand by and let that happen. President Trump again showed peace through strength tonight.
Of course, Congressman, you are our representative. East Texas is very rural. How should the federal government communicate what is happening in the world, in the Middle East, especially right now with these strikes, to rural communities like East Texas?
It's being communicated minute by minute. If you're watching social media, if you saw the president's address tonight, which is completely appropriate, I was glad to see him come out and stand there and talk to the American people with boldness and with courage and with steadfastness, showing that strength that has been missing in the Oval Office for many years. And I think that this probably sent a loud and clear message to folks in North Korea and China and Russia, and let them understand that America is not to be messed with.
And Congressman, I know in President Trump's address to the nation less than an hour ago, he said more attacks could be coming if Iran doesn't reach a peace deal. What do you think is the end game in this conflict?
The end game's peace. It's prosperity. It's stability. It is democracy. It is truly peace in that region. But Iran is the problem here. I bet you that there are a lot of nations in the Middle East tonight that are plotting, not just Israel, but applauding because they did not want to see Iran with a nuclear weapon. They wanted to make sure that this regime, which is one that's tough to control, simply were put on their heels. And so I would suggest that probably there's a lot of Arab nations that are very happy about what happened tonight.
Congressman Moran, thank you so much for joining us on
My
this
pleasure.
issue.
Thank you.